Some points that I never hear you bring up have to do with loving one another and forgiving one another and so on. One of the keys that we've been told through the years is to learn to forgive yourself and to, particularly these days, forgive one another. Would you comment on that?
There is value in forgiveness if you have judged. In other words, if you are disapproving of self or disapproving of others, you will bring forth much negative emotion from self. For in your wanting to be allower, you will not be allowing at the same time you are judging. The two cannot exist in the same world. Unless you have judged, there is not reason to forgive. And when you are an allower, you are not a judger.
You never seem to teach us about religion as such. Is there a reason for that?
There is not a set of beliefs that we are wanting to bring you to. Explaining or talking or debating or discussing religion is a never-ending circle. It leads not to growth but to confusion. For there is always another set of beliefs to be discussed. Rather than comparing or talking about religions, and there are many, it is our intent to speak of those laws that we understand that are universal. And as you understand the laws, and as you understand your own guidance system, then you will be free from the debating of religion, and you can get on to the living of life, on to being the creator that you are.
Much of the message from the non-physical to the physical through the last few years seems to be suggesting that a person see the God force within themselves.
It is not only within the last few years that that has been the message. That was the message of the great teacher Christ. That was the message of all great teachers, to look within.
That's true. But it seems to be brought up recently as a way of being critical of the non-physical, speaking through the physical, in saying that when a person sees the God force within, then they become self-worshippers.
It is important that you begin to see yourselves as you are. Our dominant reason for interacting with you is to assist you in understanding, in knowing who you are. We encourage that which they are negatively calling selfish, because if you do not have vision or view of self, then you are not deliberate in your creating. You see, the law of attraction says that that which is likened to itself is drawn. Therefore, if your image of self is not whole, if your image of self is not in balance, then what you will attract to yourself is life experience that is not in harmony with what you are wanting. You must have clear vision of who you are so that you can attract on purpose.
Well, then you don't see any way that we could do damage to ourselves or to those around us by having high self-respect.
You cannot damage another in any event. It is all done unto self. As you are seeing yourself in the way you are wanting to see yourself, that will be the point from which you will attract life experience. It is of great value for you to hold yourself in what you call high self-esteem, for that is the way you move toward that. In other words, if you are feeling unworthy, you will not attract any of the things that you believe come to those who are worthy.
There's another dimension, and that suggested we'd be of less selfish and be more of service to others. I don't hear you speak much of service or charity.
Words do not teach. It is the example of that which you are that offers. Therefore, if you are not feeling uplifted, if you are not noticing self, you cannot be of service to others, for you have nothing to offer. One who is sick cannot offer help. One who is downtrodden cannot offer upliftment. One who is unhappy cannot offer happiness. That which you are is that which you have to offer to others. And so unless you are believing in and therefore attracting to self in positive way, you have nothing of positive nature to offer to another.
But the service that's often recommended is not give of your health or your upliftment so much as give your money.
If they are asking for your money, then they have good reason to tell you not to be selfish. For they would say, holding your dollars unto yourself is selfish. Releasing them to me is not selfish. You see, upon this subject of selfishness or of service, this is our perspective.
Okay.
The grander vision you have of yourself, the more you have to offer to others. For you will be a magnet that attracts more of the things that are of value in your environment here.
Right.
Primarily, when one is offering service to another, there is not positive emotion that comes forth as confirmation from inner being saying, this is in harmony with greater intent to uplift. Because as you offer the service to another, whatever it may be, even if it is in the form of dollars, the greater message that you are offering to the one receiving the service or the dollars is, I do this for you, for I see you cannot do it for self. And so as you are offering the service, you are diminishing their view of self. You are helping them to see themselves more as not capable than you are helping them to see themselves as capable. What you are pointing out to them is that you are capable of creating, and here you are offering what you have created to them in the absence of their creative ability. That is not of great service to your fellow man. To be of service to another, you must uplift them. Uplift them to the awareness of who they are, not to the awareness of who you are.
Why does it feel good when you're helping someone, particularly in the beginning?
If you are receiving positive emotion as you are offering, then you are not out of harmony. Then your service is uplifting.
I see.
And in many cases, it is that way in the beginning, as you offer the example, or as you offer your friendship, you're wanting for them to do better. But if it continues, then you diminish their vision of their own capability. As with all things, we encourage you to evaluate the appropriateness of it by the way you feel. Utilize your guidance system. We've talked about you being a physical being and that there is a greater part of you, an inner you that exists, and that that inner you communicates. It communicates through emotion. When you have positive emotion, that feeling, you may know that your inner being is communicating to you that the thought or word or action, whatever is occurring in that moment, is in harmony with your greater intentions, you see. And when you are feeling negative emotion, it is your inner being telling you that that thought, word, or action in this moment is not in harmony with greater intent.
What do you see as the difference between a cult and a religion?
For the most part, as we hear you using the expressions, they are one and the same. It is that the religions are more widely accepted by you, while the cults are not. From our perspective, the cults are usually newer.
That's true. A newer or smaller religion would be called a cult. And why is it that
both are sets of beliefs.
Absolutely.
And all of them are not accepted by the others of them. The religions disapprove of the cults as well as the other religions. And the cults disapprove of all of it. That is why they are new thought coming forth.
Could a study of your thoughts or your teachings become another religion or cult? And if not, why couldn't it be? And if so, where would you expect it to lead those who would participate in the future?
Any thought or set of beliefs could become a religion. And so, of course, it could. We are not wanting it to, for this reason. Religions or cults tend to put boundaries on the beliefs. They gain a set of beliefs and they say, this is that which we believe. We are teachers of the knowledge that there is not an ending to growth. Therefore, putting boundaries or barricades or walls or ending places upon that which we offer would confine that which we are and confine that which we are teaching, you see.
Since my childhood, I've had something that I haven't been able to understand. Among other things. But one is, how can so many really opposing religious groups use the precise same Bible with the precise same words in it, and still they disagree so strongly about what's right and what's wrong and what should be permitted and what shouldn't be permitted?
It is, as we said at the beginning of this recording, that which you receive has much more to do with who you are and what you believe than it has to do with what you are being offered at any point in time. Perceptions vary drastically.
So, okay, since there's major conflicting positions taken on what's been handed down, written and interpreted, then how can an individual decide which are the correct commands and warnings and promises and thoughts to adhere to and to follow?
By paying attention to the way that they are feeling as they are setting forth the singular thoughts. Your thoughts come very fast, and that is the reason that in the beginning of this new understanding, there can sometimes be confusion. You say, I don't really know how I feel about that. For one moment I feel one way, and one moment I feel another. But as you learn to separate your thoughts and set them forth in more singular fashion, then you will have clear understanding of how you feel about any one thought. If you are giving thought to something that you do not want, great negative emotion will come forth. In the beginning, it will not be so great, it will be more subtle. But if you do not change the thought, if you stay focused upon that which you are not wanting, the law of attraction will assist by bringing other thoughts that are like unto it forth, until gradually you will gather together a larger number of thoughts that are not in the direction of what you are wanting. And correspondingly, you will have a large negative emotion to signal you. It is important that we express to you clearly how your guidance system works.
Okay.
We have talked about its value, we have talked about its existence, but we have not clearly explained to you how it works,
okay,
or how it can be of value to you. You are not here in this physical body to act as a puppet, to act out the intentions of someone else, even of yourself from another perspective. You are here in this physical body to be creator. Through your intentions, through your deliberate wanting, and through the magnetic state of attraction that comes forth from the law of attracting, you are attracting other beings, events, and circumstances that make up what you call the creation of this life experience. Now, your guidance system exists to help you add unto that which you have become as a collective total being. You see, you have a reason for coming forth in this life experience. And so as you are able to have growth that takes you beyond that which you have been before, then there is greater satisfaction, greater gratification. That does not mean that your inner being is wanting to dictate the events or the circumstances. Your inner being merely is wanting to provide the guidance to assist you in knowing whether you are moving toward or away from that which you have intended.